Welcome in, everyone. Thanks for tuning into this video. I'm Spider, and today I got a treat for you. Semifinals of the My hair looks weird. That's okay. Semifinals of the WPF Season 15 Delta Division. Obviously the Wi-Fi division. That's what we've been doing for the past 2 months. Today we go up against Volume and the Arizona DAC. Well, technically not today for me, but for you, it's going to be all wrapped in one video. I don't know why I feel the need to say that. It's been the same thing in every single one of my videos. But yeah, we're going up against Volume and the Arizona Dactyls. My opponent's team consists of Blaziken, Greninja, Clefable, Gliscor, Tentacruel, Bronzong, Sinistcha, Lycanroc Dusk, and Vikavolt. His Terra captains are Sinistcha with Terra Ghost, Fairy, and Normal, and Vikavolt with Terra Electric, Steel, or Fire. Now, Volume is the 7th seed in the playoffs, and he upset the number 2 seed. I don't remember who it was. It doesn't really matter, though. I think he has a great team. I'm surprised he almost didn't make playoffs, which is crazy with this team. It's very balanced. It's got, Blaziken, Speed Boost Blaziken, obviously. That's the only reason you take it first round, right? It's just very strong. It can Swords Dance, it can get the Speed Boost, and it can sweep late game. Greninja can either be a Spike's lead kind of thing, or like a Battle Bond sweeper as well. Clefable's usually bulky, Gliscor, Tentacruel, Bronzong, Sinistcha. These are all very bulky Pokemon that are really tough to break through and can be very annoying if you don't have some sort of support on your team. And then Lycanroc, either a really good lead with Focus Sash, Endeavor, and Stealth Rocks, or just a very terrifying offensive threat with Tough Claws boosted, Close Combats, Psychic Fangs, Play Rough, Accelerock is contact moves, so that gets boosted as well. And then Vikavolt just there for the kind of web support, as well as another Earthquake immunity, as if he needed another one. He already had 2 before then, and Sinistcha, which switches into Earthquakes very well. I do expect Sinistcha to make an appearance, and probably Terra Normal, just because my Spectrier is there. I just think Terra Normal makes sense, because otherwise Shadow Balls are pretty free. I mean, he's got Greninja as his Dark type and no other Normal type, so I'm clicking Shadow Ball against his team if he's not Terra Normal Sinistcha. I keep forgetting that thing's name. But if he is that, then we kind of go crazy. Well, we actually don't, but that's okay. So my strategy with building this team is basically I'm not going to win a long game against this team. It's just too fat. It's too, stally. I don't want to say stally because that has such a negative connotation. It's a great team, but I really don't like Sinistcha, and I really don't like Clefable I don't like going against these Pokemon. So if I just hit them really hard immediately and kind of knock them off guard, maybe that'll help me win a very short, abbreviated game, I guess. One thing I think my team is really good at is setting up and sweeping. So last week we had the Verzion, the week before we had the Spectrier, and the week before that we had the Quaquaval. So I think he's definitely going to run Unaware Clefable, because that will just shut all of that down very easily, which is why I've kind of prepped for that sort of Clefable, like an Unaware set. So we're not really setting up with anything on this team. We're just, well, except for one thing. But besides that, we're just doing as much damage as we can. In that vein, we are bringing a Choice Specs Spectrier, because again, if he's not terrestrialized with Sinistcha yet, or he just isn't Terra Normal for whatever reason, I just Shadow Ball everything. Psychic's there just because it does a little bit more damage to Tentacruel and Blaziken, which is kind of cool. Draining Kiss, I guess, does a little bit more to Greninja, or if I really need health for whatever reason, I might click that move. And of course, Will-O-Wisp is just to burn things, but 9 times out of 10, again, if that's not Terra Sinistcha, I'm just Shadow Balling. Because it's an easy move to click against this team. I am almost max speed and max special attack Modest. I really wanted to run Modest, and I've been keeping up with Volume's battles lately, and he does like to speed creep things. So he's not just, I wouldn't expect to just see like a max speed Greninja. He's probably going to speed creep my next fastest Pokemon, which is going to be Thundurus, because Spectrier, if it's timid, it outspeeds Greninja anyway. So if he does speed creep Thundurus, we'll be able to outspeed that Pokemon by 1 point here. So that will allow us to run the Modest Nature, and then we just have a pinch of defense investment, just in case we have to take some sort of hit from like a Lycanroc or a Blaziken. Next up, we've got Choice Banded Quaquaval. Again, just trying to hit things really hard. Wave Crash, Aqua Step, Aqua Jet, and Knockoff. Aqua Jet is really just there for the potential Lycanroc or Blaziken. If Blaziken gets set up, I want to be able to out-prioritize that Pokemon for sure, because there are certain avenues where it can try to set up a Swords Dance, and I don't want that to happen. And if it does, but again, if it does happen, we have the Aqua Jet there. Knockoff is really just there to hit something like a Tentacruel or a Sinistcha, switching in for sure on the Sinistcha. But, dude, I don't know why Sinistcha is so fat. Its stats aren't even that good. It's got good special attack, and the rest is kind of like decent, but not anything crazy. It always takes hits, and it's very annoying, especially for physical attackers because it can click strength stat. So we really have to try to knock out Sinistcha as early as possible. I considered Flip Turn over Aqua Step, but I just feel like Aqua Step's nice in case he does not bring Unaware on Clefable. There is, of course, a chance he doesn't. And in that case, Aqua Step boosting our speed. And then if I'm Choice Banded, get the Moxie boost. We're just snowballing at some point. Even with the Sinistcha there. I mean, maybe not with the Sinistcha there, but, it's very possible that if that Pokemon's low and we're at +1 or +2 with the Choice Band, that Aqua Step can still just snowball. But Wave Crash is, stronger, and again, it's not kind of setup dependent. This set in general isn't setup dependent, so if Clefable wants to switch in predicting some sort of bulk up or Swords Dance, or if I have a Moxie boost, I'm still Moxie because you never know, right? But if that's the case, I'm still hitting that thing really hard with Banded Wave Crashes. Next up, we got Mythic, the tried and true Choice Band. I did want to run an Agility set, but again, I just don't really deal enough damage. I didn't even know that Sinistcha was heat proof. That's an ability it gets until I had a Mox, so that's very, very helpful. So I'll just be clicking Head Smash against a Sinistcha for sure. Even if it's still a Grass type, Head Smash does more, and I'm pretty sure. And the rest of the moves, Extreme Speed, Close Combat, just make the most sense. Choice Band will just do a lot of damage to everything. What are his resistances to Head Smash? He's got Bronzong, and that's it. And Bronzong does not enjoy Flare Blitzes unless it is also heat proof, which is possible because he has Gliscor to always switch in on Tinglu. So it could run heat proof on the Bronzong. But even then, I mean, shit, I wouldn't want to switch into this thing. That's all I know. I'm glad it's on my team. And then Close Combat is just nice for like a random, like if he is Terra Normal on the Sinistcha, we can Close Combat that for a little bit extra damage. Next up, we're rocking out with a Focus Sash Tenant, my Thundurus. This will just be my lead, because I don't have any removal on this team. Again, I had a Rapid Spin Quaquaval Ball at first, but I'm like, I just don't break through a Clefable if this thing is here. So, let me just try to do you one better and just not let you get up hazards in the first place. I will not outspeed Lycanroc, right? No, I will. Oh shoot, my bad. I will outspeed Lycanroc because we're max speed, max special attack. We have a minus attack nature. I'm going to fix that. We shouldn't be minus attack nature because we're Focus Sash, so it doesn't really matter, right? But we'll be able to taunt the Lycanroc turn 1 if it is a lead Lycanroc, and then the next turn we can Thunder Wave it, which is Prankster, so it'll go before his Accelerock trying to knock us out. But besides that, there's really not much Thundurus will do in this matchup. If he doesn't bring Lycanroc for whatever reason, if he leads like Webb's Vikavolt, that's just as fine. Like, I just get to taunt that thing. At least prevent it for one turn, because once my Thundurus goes down, if I see a Lycanroc or a Vikavolt, I'm in a good position to bring in something, whether that be well, not really Arcanine, Spectrier maybe. I just bring in Spectrier and Shadow Ball something, because if it's lead, then Sinistcha isn't terrestrialized yet. Shadow Ball just does crazy damage to everything. So we're hoping that that's the case. Thundurus is going to be probably a turn 2, 3, or 4 knockout, but that's kind of just the design of the team. Like I said, I wanted to go hyper offensive with this team for sure. Next up, we have Goofy the Regigigas Terra Fairy, but it's not defensive. You do see the leftovers. I think this set might catch my opponent off guard. It's done really well in Mox because my opponent they don't expect an offensive Regigigas. I've been running Terra Fairy defensive like every single week, but I just feel like I'm not gonna, I take certain hits anyway, but I don't take like a shit ton no matter what. So I figured, let's just rock out with an offensive Regigigas. I consider Terra Ground because I'll be able to resist the Greninja, or I'll be able to resist the Lycanroc, but then the Greninja and the Tentacruel and the Sinistcha hit me really hard. So I don't really want to do that. We are just max attack, 232 HP and 24 speed, just a little bit of speed, so that if I do get my slow start, if my slow start is gone after 5 turns, I should be able to outspeed you know, like a Tentacruel or a Gliscor trying to speed creep Regigigas for whatever reason. Body Slam is just pretty strong against his team. He's got the Sinistcha and the Bronzong that can switch into it, but I do have Knockoff to hit those Pokemon really hard. And then finally, Ice Punch, of course, is just for the Gliscor. Finally, we are bringing Equity the Verzion back. You know, I don't know if this is going to be the set that sweeps. I don't think we are going to have a sweeper on this team, but it might catch him off guard. If Clefable's very low or if it's not unaware, then I can still set up on it and I can go crazy. We are Pyapa Berry. I switched from Pyapa to Roselli and then I switched back to Pyapa because in my opinion, the Lycanroc, if it's still around, it does outspeed us and it's probably going to run a Psychic Fangs and not a Play Rough. I figured, okay, Roselli Berry will cover against Play Rough, Lycanroc, and Moonblast Clefable. I don't really need, okay, well if he's unaware, then the Roselli Berry is not really going to matter. He can just Moonblast this next turn as I'm setting up Calm Minds. And if he's not unaware, I'll be able to probably beat that thing one-on-one anyway, as long as I don't get cheesed with like Thunderwave paralyses and stuff like that. I figured Pyapa Berry is a little bit better because he could run Extra Sensory on Greninja for the Verzion, and the Quaquaval both resist the dual stab, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Extra Sensory on that Pokemon, and Pyapa Berry covers for that, as well as I just think Psychic Fangs is a little more likely than Play Rough because he'll probably run Close Combat for Tinglu anyway, so he won't need Play Rough for that. Psychic Fangs will be able to hit Dragalge, Verzion, and Quaquaval. Obviously, Play Rough can hit Quaquaval and Verzion, but it's not 100% accurate, and for that extra 5 power, I don't really think it's worth it to run Play Rough. If I were him, I would run Psychic Fangs. Oh, by the way, we are Terra Fighting, just in case I need extra damage with Aura Sphere. But most likely we're going to be Terastallizing Regigigas to deal a little bit better with like the Greninja and the Blaziken and all that. And that is going to be the team for the semifinals. It's a big one, man. It's kind of a shot in the dark again, much like last week, but I think last week it went markedly better than I expected, to be honest. So maybe this week will be the same. You never know. Either way, it's been a crazy run. Thanks for being a part of it. If you have been, you know, keeping track of all of these battles, and whatever happens, happens. We're just gonna have fun with it. So I will cut the video right here, and I will see you guys in the battle. All right, here we are in the battle, going up against Mr. Volume. This will be a post commentary, obviously, but I figured, you know, it's probably better for me to do that. There's like a movie going on in the background, so I didn't really want to risk any of that. So we see a team of Greninja, Lycanroc, Sinistcha, Clefable, Gliscor, and Bronzong. The biggest thing here is that he didn't bring Blaziken, which was pretty interesting. That doesn't really change my lead. I'm always going to lead Thundurus. That's what I talked about in the team builder. And we do see Arcanine. That's not going to be an Arcanine. That's going to be a Lycanroc. So this is pretty much what I expected. So if this is indeed a lead Lycanroc, he probably clicks he probably clicks Stealth Rocks, but I'm going to taunt so that doesn't happen. Again, like I said, it's fine if Thundurus goes down immediately here, as long as I'm able to get a Paralyze on Lycanroc. But he actually switches, which is an interesting play to me. I didn't expect that. Maybe he was expecting a Thunder Wave there or something. But I do taunt this Pokemon here, which is really cool, so it has to attack here or switch. So I'm thinking there's really not much it can hit Arcanine with, or so I thought. So I figured I might want to go Arcanine just to try to take advantage of this. I expected him to just Moonblast, so I figured I might want to knock off just to get rid of his item, or Thunder Wave. But I also kind of wanted, like I said in Team Builder, it's like I'm just trying to stay on the front foot here, so I wanted to get as much offensive momentum as possible, and I felt like going Arcanine here would grant me that. But as you can see, he actually doubles in a Gliscor, which is a good play for him. He doesn't have Toxcorp, so I'm not sure what his item is at this point, but a knockoff there definitely would have helped. And this turn, I'm like, okay, screw it. I'm just going to stay in and head smash, because I don't see a Toxcorp, so he might be offensive, which means he might Sword Stance. But as he does actually Sword Stance, but that's not really what I was thinking. I'm thinking he doesn't Earthquake at this point. I think I have too many things to switch into that. I expected a Spike or a Stealth Rock there, or maybe even a Protect or something like that. I do go for Head Smash and I get a crit. With the paste he showed me after the game, I had about a 37% chance to kill there. So, you know, depending on how you look at it, the crit could have mattered, but it also could not have if I got a favorable roll. But that's huge, you know, getting rid of Gliscor. It really opens up a lot of things on my team. So at this point, he goes Lycanroc, and I've already gotten more use. Well, not I haven't really, but I'm just gonna go Thundurus because it's my least. It's my most expendable. I don't really need it. If he goes for Stealth Rocks here, well played. But in that case, I'll still be able to get a big hit off on this Lycanroc. But he actually does, like, best case scenario here for me. He goes for close combat, which is completely fine. I'm assuming he went for that because I stayed in with Arcanine for the turn before, so he'd assume I'd stay in again. But I feel like that would have just been kind of reckless for me. But not that staying in before wasn't reckless, but yeah. Anyway, he's going to go ahead and switch, which was also interesting to me. I guess he really doesn't want to get paralyzed with that Lycanroc. And by the way, that close combat damage tells me he's Jolly with no boosting item. We find out later he's Expert Belt, but that obviously doesn't affect the close combat there. So I'm able to paralyze a Sinistcha, which is really cool. I'm going to follow this up with a Taunt. And besides like a Shadow Ball, there's really not much you can do about that. A Shadow Ball might knock me out from this range, but I'm pretty confident that it doesn't, as long as he doesn't have any investment. Usually Sinistchas run defensive EVs, so yeah. He does go for Strength Sap there, so that's really ideal for me. And at this point, I could knock off. I could also just switch, but I felt like knockoff is pretty ideal here. As even if he's able to Shadow Ball me, I can get rid of like a Leftovers, which is really cool. He ends up switching into Lycanroc, which is just great for me because I get rid of his Expert Belt, which is really helpful. And here I'm obviously just going to click the Thunder Wave. I've been trying to get rid of this Thundurus forever, but it just doesn't want to go down. So I'm gonna Thunder Wave this. We outspeed him by 1 point, which is awesome. And he does end up getting fully paralyzed, which is a little bit, just obviously a tad unfortunate. If he knocks me out there with like a Stone Edge, that's really helpful for him. I was expecting him to knock me out anyway with like an Accelerock here. So I think maybe I can go for Virizion or Quavel. Both of those resist it. But I figure, you know, it's not worth it. Maybe we get another full para. But he actually doesn't have Accelerock. So Thundurus is going to pick up a kill here. This game really could not have gone any better up to this point for me, which is great. I kind of feel bad with the hacks, but you got to just play on, right? And there's nothing you can do about it here. So he goes Clefable. I wanted to just straight up attack here, but I figure it's not really worth it in case he's Cosmic Power. I don't want to really deal with that. So I go for Taunt anyway, and he clicks Chilling Water, so it actually does have something to hit Arcanine. And that's a tad scary, because I don't... Last time I brought an Arcanine on this, so... obviously, at this point, I'm just sacking Thundurus. Please just kill the Thundurus. I thought about knocking off here as well, but I figured even if he's like Leftovers, I don't really care. I'd rather just do damage. He can't heal himself because of the taunt. So he goes for Chilling Water again. He really wants me to bring out the Arcanine. But that damage tells me he's mostly physically defensive. Probably none, probably very little, if any, special defense investment there. And he's finally going to knock me out here. If we went for Chilling Water one more time, we'd actually get another kill with Thundurus. But finally, the lead of Thundurus goes down. We got so much value out of that Pokemon. At this point, while I do expect a Terra normal Poltergeist, or Sinistcha, again, I got that mixed up. While I do expect that, he's not Terastallized yet, so he can't switch it in. I basically get a Pokemon here, as long as it's not like a super bulky Greninja. He is going to sack off his Clefable here, and that's going to give me a +1 Grimnay boost. So we're looking pretty good. He could go Greninja, he could also go Terra Normal Sinistcha. The thing is, if he goes Sinistcha and he Terastallizes, then he's kind of locked into that. So I do think Greninja was the better play here. Even if, I don't know, I could knock him out potentially with a Draining Kiss +1, but obviously I'm Spec, so I can't do that. I know that. So I'm going to go ahead and switch. At this point, I'm expecting a Battle Bond Greninja because of the way he's been using it. I feel like Protean is usually for like a Hazard Stack lead, something like that. But he is actually Protean Greninja, and he goes for Dark Pulse, which is fine. That damage, I get a Justified boost, which is useless because I'm a special. That damage basically tells me he is like max special attack, timid, no boosting item, so that's pretty good for me. So he's going to go ahead and switch himself, go into Sinistcha. Obviously, this Pokemon is kind of tough to deal with Virizion, but I felt like here Calm Mind was pretty safe because I didn't expect Acrobatics there, right? If he did that, then good on him, but he wouldn't have the Protean boost, so I don't even know if well, it probably knocks me out from full anyway. But he wouldn't have had the Protean boost with extra sensory, so I felt pretty pretty confident just going with a Calm Mind there. And here I'm also very free to just taunt, because Greninja at this point doesn't look like it can hit me very hard, and Bronzong does get hindered by the taunt for sure. He does double out into Bronzong, and at this point, I'm looking pretty good with Virizion, because I can just set up again. I'm looking at the calcs. Gyro Ball just doesn't do that much for whatever reason, and Body Press, even if he's physically defensive, I can take a few. So I'm in a great position. For some reason, I think about switching. There's really no reason. I mean, if he has a Zen Headbutt, if he does have a Zen Headbutt, I have the Pineapple Berry anyway, so I can soak at least one of those. But he switches again, so he's having some difficulty dealing with this Pokemon. He does go Greninja here, and this was an interesting play here because I wasn't too sure what he was going to do. I could have just Aura Sphered there and knocked it out, but because he brought this thing in, I'm thinking, okay, I probably win this game as long as this Greninja doesn't have Acrobatics, and it's not worth the risk, so I'm just going to Terastallize. That will make the Acrobatics 2 times super effective rather than 4 times, and it will never kill me if that's the case. So I do Terastallize. This makes Machagacha neutral on me from the Sinistra, and it also makes it so that there was something else. Maybe not. Well, I obviously don't resist the Water Tip move anymore, but he does U-turn, so obviously I'm not expecting an Acrobatics at this point, but I guess you never know. I'm a fighting type now, so my Aura Spheres are slightly powered up, but he does go Bronzong again on my Giga Drain. That damage tells me he's pretty specially bulky. He was actually max BDF. I thought he might have had more of a mixed defensive set, but I guess I just underestimated the power of Virizion there. So he gets a little bit of leftovers, and I think we can see the writing on the wall at this point, as long as he's not some sort of crazy, I don't even know. I don't know what could save him at this point. I go for Taunt. Body Press is going to do not that much. It's definitely manageable. This turn I decide to just click Aura Sphere because I don't think I need to play around. I don't think I need a Giga Drain. Aura Sphere is definitely 2 KOing him at this range, and with the Terastallization buff or boost, it does considerable damage there. So it's gonna Body Press one more time, and we're going to, I believe, just pick up the kill with the Aura Sphere. I think, yeah, I speed up the battle at this point because, like I said, it's pretty obvious what we're gonna do. Virizion's been going crazy in the play in this battle and the battle before. It's got total 8 kills and it's not gone down once. So that's awesome. I'm really excited I picked this thing up in free agency as a Terra captain especially, and you know, it's just worked out for us. There was a battle I had the day before this one which really sucked, and so having this as kind of like a confidence booster was really helpful for me. So with that, we will be moving on to the finals. I know who our opponent is. Our opponent's going to be Gravy. I actually wanted to battle Mike, Wreck-It Mike, because that wouldn't have been a rematch. Gravy we beat in week 4 with a 1-0, but it could have gone either way. So it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a true finals matchup for sure. It should be a blast. So good game to volume. Like I said, I really enjoyed his team. Well, I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy prepping for it, but I think it was really cool. But you know, no Blaziken was kind of surprising. I wonder if how this game would have gone if he wasn't. But Greninja's gonna go for the extra sensory, pause the Pyappa. We don't get flinched, and that's gonna be it. So Frieza's gonna pick it up. I never got to use my offensive Regigigas, which is sad. Or my Banded Quack, but I mean, I don't care. I got the win, right? Anyway, that's gonna do it. Make sure you go check out Volume's YouTube link to his point of view. I'll definitely be watching his. Also, we did like a post-game interview, so if you want to see that, definitely go over there and check out his video. His link, along with the rest of the coaches, will be in the description box below, like I said. So that's going to be it from me. And make sure you stay tuned for finals next week. Next Friday, it's going to be a hoot. I will see you guys in the next one.